What's up guys, the Bobcat here, and welcome to a brand new series on Dungeon of the Endless. Now, Dungeon of the Endless comes from the same developers as the people who made Endless Space and Endless Legend, so I should throw that out there. And it's quite a departure from their other ones, because instead of being a strategy game like Civ, this is more like a turn-based roguelike game. And you'll see that once we actually get into the game itself. Now, what was it going to be? I was going to look at something. Yes, going to look at the journal. To start off with, I have only played 2 games. On the first one it ended quite poorly, and on the second one it went quite well. I got the floor 9. So, we will be starting a new game with some characters. Now then, it says continue. That's just because I started the game just to make sure the audio was okay. So here we go, new game. Yes, and I don't know if this will drop me out of sync, so I may restart the recording after this happens. But this should give us a quick bit of the story about what's happening. So here we are. The ship, the crew, it has 200 prisoners and 300 crew. And as you can see, it's under attack. And obviously, crew drops, and we escape in our escape pod. Now we have a number of people available to us. We have Max O'Kane, Sarah Numas, Gork Butcher Corsair. I'm going to pronounce his names horribly wrong, by the way, so I apologise. Nurse Dina Ratchet, Tro Pequeno, and Kreyang. Now, when you first start the game, you will only have access to these 4 and him. I have access to this guy because I have already been through and found him and unlocked him. You unlock characters by, as it says there, discovering them and reaching the final exit or surviving 3 floors with them. So I found Opbot DV8, Rakia Pulmoni, and Lady Jolel Tulak. Probably pronounced this horribly wrong. But yeah, I found those 3 already, but I couldn't buy them at the time or hire them into the group, mostly because the group was full. So, let's take a look at the screen first. We've got 2 difficulties, easy and too easy. I've only played on easy, so, you know, no harm there. And our escape pod. Our escape pod is guaranteed to survive any crash. We hope the occupants do as well. So that's interesting, but it gives no bonuses or penalties. And as you can see, there are a few different escape pods. We've got the infirmary, which gives more health, but we cannot heal, and obviously you'll see that more when we get into the game. And there's the conditions as well to unlock them. So win the game with the escape pod and spend 1,000 food on healing. Army pod, powerful heroes. You can see refrigerator, the drill, which is in endless mode. The sanitary pod, hard mode, game cannot be paused. You'll see again that when we get into the game. And back to the escape pod. So, all these different characters have their own little backstories to them, and some interesting things can happen with them. And again, explain more when we get into the game. It's easy to show when we have the screen in front of us. But the first 2 characters I chose were Sarah Numas and, if I can change this one, I've forgotten how you do it. There we go. And Gork the Butcher. I had these 2, mostly because he was quite powerful and she was very fast, and speed is very important. But I think for this one, we're just going to randomise and see what we get. I'm hoping for some good rolls, but we'll have to wait and see. So here we go. And mid desync, so I may have to restart the recording. We'll see in a second. There goes our pod, and boom. And here we are in the dungeon. So we have, who's this? We have Max O'Kane, and Nurse Dina Ratchet. So each one of these characters has different traits, and we also have these up here. So we'll start on these and we'll move over to the characters. So we have industry, science, food, and dust. Now, if you've played any of the games done by this developer, I forget their name, I should probably have to look it up. they have a big thing with dust in most of their games, and it's often quite important, and it is important here as well. And I will show you as soon as we open that door. As you can see, our escape pod has crashed, and we are at the bottom of the dungeon. So industry. Industry is used to build modules and turrets, and the rest of these ones at the bottom. We will unlock more turrets and stuff as we go through, but for now this is all we have access to. Prisoner Prod 1 and the generators. Science will allow us to research things in research artifacts, which allow us to obviously unlock more things from the bottom. And food is used to either heal a character or level them up, so it's very important. And dust allows you to power rooms. Also, there are traders who trade for certain resources, but we'll talk more about that later. For now though, we have two heroes. So our first hero, he has 400 health, 11 defense. He's quite good in speed. His damage isn't very good though. He has passive skills, active skills, and equipment. Excuse me. He's also got wit, which we will see the use of later on. But his passive skills are pack dogs, +6 attack power when their mates are nearby. I don't know who his friends are, and this is a big thing because when we get to the elevator, characters will have different conversations. Now, remember when I mentioned I had Sarah Dumas and Gork? Those two, as I went through, had a very long conversations between the elevators. And when it got to about floor 7, some stuff broke out between them. And, crazily enough, on the elevator, one of them they killed each other. Sarah cut down Gork, and I lost Gork, which was a real pain because he was my damage dealer at that time. I survived another 2 floors before I died. But I think we will find out who his friends are if we bring them with us in our starting pod, if we find them and they're on the elevator. So 6 attack power with his friends are nearby. It can be good, can be bad. And he's got Endless Expert, so he gets +2 science regardless, which is really good. That's really quite good indeed. It means we get a flat +2 science, and the more of any of these is really, really good. Now you can also see his biography. Max is eternally optimistic, mostly because he is too terrified of where he is to think about it seriously. He will always be looking to profit from a situation, get extra loot, take one more object, spend less money, etc. Even if it puts him in a bad, risky position, or earns angry comments from his heroes. I butchered that horribly, I apologise. And we also have Nurse Dina Ratchet. She has got your back when +10 defense when people she trusts. Again, don't know who they are. Her terms of defense, she's a little better, but she's a little slower, and her DPS is higher as well. And her other skill is that monsters don't slow her down, which will be really quite useful later on. When monsters hit you while you are moving, you slow down, and that's really going to be really important. So Ratchet is unable to do anything without screaming orders before, during, or after. An overbearing and annoyed marionette. She does not consider a job well done until the entire galaxy has heard about it. Unafraid to yell when silence will do, her voice has been classed as a lethal weapon. That's quite funny actually. But let's move on. So here we have our pod, and here we have a door. If we scroll out, we get a map that shows us our core and our door. Now the dust we have is stored in the core. So we open this. Max says I've come to vow not to die. We get 9 dust and we fight our enemies. And we kill them quite handily. Now, to power a room, we press middle mouse button, and the room is powered. This means we can build stuff in it. So we want an industry generator right away. Industry is very important, and the sooner we get it, the better. As you can see, we now have 33 dust, so we can power 2 more rooms, and our dust is in our core. Our objective, protect the core. If enemies hit it, we will lose dust, and rooms will become depowered, which is a big deal, and it will get quite problematic later on. So let's keep moving through. Enemies do spawn in rooms that are dark, so we have to make sure all rooms are powered before we leave, so enemies don't spawn in them. Now, this is where the turn-based aspect comes in, because you can see, we right-click and have people run between rooms. When we press space, it pauses. Why? Well, each turn is a door. We open a door, a turn goes by, and we have to react to how that turn treats us. For instance, we open the door, get a glimpse of the room in front, and it's got dust and a science machine, which is very useful. We want to look at that immediately. This is what we can get. Food replicator, Tear gas. Ooh, tear gas would be quite useful. I may want to consider getting that. And this takes 3 doors to research. So everything, all the turns are based on doors. So more doors we open, more time passes. Alternatively, we can reset all the research, but I don't think we want to. We've got 22 research. We're probably not going to use it for anything else, so best to get started right away. Now then, we have a choice. You see, we have 2 doors. Each one of those will lead to a room. If it's a dead end, we have to power the room, or enemies will spawn, which is a big problem, as you might imagine. We found a food table. That is a random item. It'll give us more food, as you might imagine. 5 more food. Let's power this room. Looking very nice so far. This is a lot different from when I first played it. The layout is a lot different. Obviously, it's a roguelike game, so it's procedurally generated rooms. But I haven't seen this sort of one before. Well, that one anyway. Oh, we've got some enemies. Nothing too dangerous. Our people should be just fine. As you can see, we take damage, but we heal up at the end of it, after the combat has ended. So that's something to bear in mind as well. Now then, we've hit our cap on dust, or rooms we can power. Every 10 we get another room. So now we have to make a choice. Which way do we go? Let's head up and hope for the best. Now we do have enough food to level someone up, but we'll hold off on that just in case we find a merchant or something. These things aren't too dangerous. It's only the first floor of the dungeon, so no harm really. And I need to just hang on a second. So as you can see, our research is finished and we've unlocked tear gas. We will send... who's faster? We'll send Max O'Kane back to have a look at the core, or not the core, the artifact research, and see what is else available. So as you can see, some of it's changed now. We've got Orthodox shards, Claymore mines, and pepper spray. All these quite interesting, but I doubt we're going to be able to afford any of them for a while. But we do have 43 production, so building a science generator wouldn't be a bad idea. We do get science and such based on how many doors we open. So each turn we unlock the amount you see in the top, so we get an extra 7. Now because we don't have enough dust to power this room, leaving someone in the room will keep it powered and stop enemies from spawning. So we're going to go through with just one of them. We can pull our person back if there's any enemies. We found the exit. Now this is both good and bad, you see, because we want to sort of get as much as possible from this floor, but we also want to make sure that, well, we get enough from the floor. We want to escape easily, but things with the core is, as soon as we take it, all doors will open regardless, so opening these doors isn't such a bad idea. Just we have to be careful. See, we're getting quite lucky. Not many enemies, but we're not getting any dust. Oh, you see that? Enemies spawn in rooms without people in them, as I mentioned earlier. Now, our person's going to run back. Our guy's taking damage, so we're going to have to give him a bit of food, I think. Or maybe not. Looks like he's holding his own. And as you can see, we heal up for free. So, do we start upgrading? It's an interesting question, because if we find a merchant, he may want to trade for food. And getting equipment is just as important as leveling up. As you can see, we level up, he gets an active skill. I'm pretty sure I know what that active skill is, and I think I want to get it. If I'm not mistaken, it's verbal abuse, and it also gives him more health and defense and attack. So here we go. Yep, it's verbal abuse. This gives heroes in the room power attack and defense. It's pretty nice to have, and will certainly prove its usefulness later on. So instead of going this way, we're going to head this way. It's a bit of a foolish idea, but it's just because I don't want to have to open up huge amounts of waves. 7 dust from that room, and it's self-powered, which is even better. So we can power this room up now and move these 2 over here. So he can stay in this room and she can move up here, and we will open another door. I want to get as much as I can from the first few floors because they're not too difficult. The enemies are very squishy. That is a science, so free science from that. We can power up, or we can't just yet, but we will be able to. Who's quicker? I keep forgetting. He is quicker. So we'll send him back to the core, and we'll get some research going. We might as well. I mean, the more research we have, the more things we get. They are down here, as you can see. We've got the tear gas just there. So what do we want? The pepper spray is pretty good. It makes monsters attack each other. The claymore mine seems pretty nice as well. I'm not gonna lie. I never used it. I've only used... well, I haven't really used pepper spray either. But I'm not sure which one I want. The attack cooldown means it cools down every 2 seconds. It does 5 damage, but it blasts over a radius. So later on that could be quite powerful. But I think I want the pepper spray. Then again, the food replicator early on wouldn't be a bad idea either. It's difficult to choose. As soon as we choose one, you see, they're all going to reset. So we have to plan this carefully. We'll take the we'll take the attack sort of defense, and then we'll focus on the utility later on. So we'll send him back to here, and we will move her up through here. What do we have in here? Monsters? You've got some monsters, so we'll run them back to the exit room, and that monster will chase us, and we can use both our people to kill it. It's a bit of a tougher monster, that one. As you can see, we did suffer some damage. There is one monster left, if I'm not mistaken. There it is. These things will always go for the core, and later on they can be a bit of a pain, because they just float past your men and just attack your core, which is annoying to say the least. Now then, let's keep cranking open the doors. We've reached the end of this sort of passageway. Ooh, that's scary, so run back. And in fact, lots of enemies are spawning. Is she going to be okay? We'll heal her and we'll pause. Now, I want to put some prisoner prods down here. Prisoner prods are your basic attack building. Every 0.5 seconds do 8 damage, which is pretty useful, and later on they can get quite useful. So we're going to move them in here. Only cost 3 to build. These things are built instantly when enemies aren't on the floor, but as you can see, they will really help out with defending. We could also build the pepper spray if we wanted. I'm going to keep healing. You can use that. Verbal abuse. Got to keep an eye on the health. It's important. We'll be just fine though. There we go. Now, we use an active ability, and you can see it cools down in 3 doors. So again, everything is based around doors. Now that prisoner prod, well, the tear gas costs it costs 4. No, sorry, it costs 7 industry. How many doors do we have left? It is difficult to say. So what we'll do is we'll build 2 more prisoner prods just to be safe, and we will save this dust we have for, say, this room up here. And we want both our people over here as well. Those prisoner prods should be more than capable of killing anything that enters that room at this level anyway. Later on, it'll be a bit more risky. Now we've got 1 door left on that, so we'll get both our people and have them open this door. Okay, we've explored the full dungeon. Some enemies, nothing too dangerous. We'll jump back in here, so we've got a bit more of a attack arc. That way we can shoot the ones that are causing problems. There we go, and we've completed the floor. So now we're not going to get anything else from this floor. Now here comes the difficult to annoying part. You see, we have to make choices now, because we want to make sure the run to the exit is clear. Because we have to carry the core, and the core is really, really heavy, and it'll slow us down something fierce. So we're going to put him in this room. We're going to build 2 prisoner prods, and she's going to carry the core. Why? She's not as fast as him, but her ability to not be slowed down when taking damage will help out a lot. I do like Sarah, the one who looks like Samus Aran from Metroid. I like her a lot because she's really, really fast. She's like one of the fastest. So let's grab the core and run to the exit, and here's where things goes completely hectic. Grab the core, pause, and run like the wind. As you can see, she's a bit on the slow side, and monsters are going to start spawning. I probably should have paid attention to this as well. I don't think we can now, but a thing to keep in mind is that when you no, this is a bit risky now. She's not too fast, that's the problem. So you're going to have to run down there. We can build some prisoner prods to help. Want to make sure she gets out of there just fine. Want to make sure I've got both of them selected as well. Okay, keep running. As you can see, it's getting a bit hectic. A lot of enemies coming in. Thankfully our defences are more than capable of holding. Those attack the core, so we should be fine. And now we can exit the floor. And away we go. Why is everything in this place busted except the elevator? Good question. Well, as you can see, we get the times, the monsters killed, doors opened, and we are on floor 2. As you can see, there are, what is that, 15 floors, I want to say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No, 13 floors. So, continue the dialogue. Nothing else to say, so moving on. Now, this elevator scene, as you can see with the dialogue, can lead to many different things. I don't think these two really have much of a story or history together, so I don't think they're going to have many conversations. They might do, but they might not. So next floor. So we are here on floor 2 now. As you can see, it says 2. So, as I was talking about previously, the science machine is quite important. As you can tell, back then it took doors for it to complete its research. Also, we don't carry the dust over from the last floor, so that's something to keep in mind as well. But when you use a science machine at the end of a floor, I'm pretty sure that it auto-completes the research. So it's something to keep in mind. He's got a map and a pipe. Very funny. So which way do we go? Left, right or down? We'll head down. Okay, nice looking room to start off with. It's got it's got a guy in it. Hey, it's Opbot. As you can see, he's recruited with food. I'm an expert in biomechanics. I love to study them. We will buy him because buying a hero is really, really good. So we're buying him, and we can take a quick look at him as well. So here we go. What is he? Active skill, increased attack power and cooldown, which is really quite good. He uses a spear though, which means he's a melee fighter. Our other two use guns, so they're ranged. What else? He's a bit squishy. His DPS isn't too good. He's okay in speed, but he has Pack of Dogs and Repair. So Repair is quite useful. Probably not going to come into its own until later on. And I think that next level will give him Operator, but I'm not sure. So I've never had him before, so I don't know. But we'll find out when he level him up. He's just pulled his head off. Okay then, moving on. Now the problem is, or at least the problem I find when we come to an elevator with 2 or more doors, is that I don't know which way to go, so the exit could literally be this way and 1 door. Or that could just be a janitorial closet, and spawn enemies all the time. So as you can see, we do get some dust from killing enemies as well. So what do we want to put here? We don't have to put anything. I think we're going to put a food replicator. I do want to get our people leveled up quickly as possible. Also something to note, the industry required goes up by 5 per module you build. Come on, loot. Give me some loot. You get dust and insects. How does that make you feel? So again, this early on, not too much trouble dealing with the rooms. However, we're getting a lot of branching paths, and this is where things start to get a bit hectic. Is that a door or a closet? There's a science machine with nothing in it. Perfect, and that's a closet, so we don't have to worry about it. Well, we do have to worry about enemies spawning in there, but for the time being, it's fine. Now we could upgrade the food replicator. It's a pretty good idea. But I think what we want is a Neurostone module. This thing is really good. Minus 30% speed for monsters in the room. Put it in a room, like in a big room, like well, we don't have any big rooms, but the big long ones. And all of a sudden, the enemy doesn't move quickly, and your prisoner prods tear into pieces. The smoking gun, it shoots very quickly, but it cools down. So it cools down really quickly. Well, it doesn't cool down quickly at all. That's the point of it. Fast shooter, but it overheats. So we'll get the Neurostone module, and we'll grab everyone. And do we want to build something here? We can afford it. I think... Ooh, it's difficult to decide. I don't think industry generator won't be too bad. But it's only 3, so it'll take 10 doors for it to pay for itself. Will we have 10 doors? 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll build it. It's a bit risky and a bit expensive, but we are going to earn more industry from it. More dust, and we found the exit. Wonderful. Exit is coming fast and hard. Now then, who is our lowest DPS dealer? It's Opbot DV8. Also, let's look at his biography. A simple medical assistant, its occupation is currently listed as emergency paramedic. No current information on its role before the crash is available, and it is unknown if DV8 was a prisoner, guard or crew. And everyone is wondering where that nickname came from. So we're probably going to have some conversations about his nickname later on. But as you can see, in the beginning we had crew and prisoners. Some of the people with us are actually prisoners. I believe Gork was a prisoner, and that's why he had a falling out with Sarah, because she was a bounty hunter. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to quickly pause this and go get something to eat, so I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Dinner had to be eaten. So, where were we? Ah yes, opening doors. We found the exit, so we're going to keep going. Oh, I have a sneeze coming. Hang on, see if I can get it. Okay, looks like it's not going. Anyway, moving on. Through this door we have another research. Now, things about researches is you can queue multiple of them on multiple research stations. So for this one we can research something else. Ooh. The emergency generator would be pretty nice to get. Powers the room without dust operating, increases monsters. Dust loot. Sorry, let's try that again. Powers the room without dust. Operating increases monster dust loot probability in the floor. I think this means you build it and you get a better chance of getting dust from monsters. We also have the prisoner prod level 1 to 3. Yes. There's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't take that option. 1 to 3 is pretty impressive. So we're going to put you in this room because it's not powered. He's our weakest damage dealer. And we're going to keep moving. We'll head down here. It's probably worth actually getting some prisoner prods up. After all, the exit is there. We'll build 4. It's a bit expensive, but it's necessary. Oh, we've got a chest. What do we have? A pea shooter. Now, we have a weapon. This gives us bonuses to certain things. Sometimes it can be slightly detrimental. It has a barrel and things come out, but it tends to be annoyed rather than wound. Sorry, let's try that again. It has a barrel and things come out, but it tends to annoy rather than wound. As you can see, it's a pretty substantial upgrade. So who do we equip it to? Well, who's got the lower damage or high damage? We'll equip it to him. I think it's slightly better for him. Now he's got some beefy damage to him. So we'll leave her in this room, and we'll take him and use him to go into this room. We'll also put some prisoner prods here. Prisoner prods cost 3 each, so it does start to add up a bit, but as long as we're careful we are fine. Oh, let's retreat to here because there's a lot of enemies. Well, we should be just fine, they're not too dangerous. There we go. Exit's there. No more doors, is there? There's one there and one there, so we'll get the last 2 open. We've got plenty of food. Wow, this corridor's going on for a while. Run back. Prisoner prods are all level 3 now, which is pretty substantial. You'll see that in a second when the enemies walk in. And they're nearly already dead. It wasn't until like floor 6 that I got like level 3, so getting them this early is really nice. And just to be sure, we'll send you to have a look. What else can we get? Tactical HUD. That'd be pretty nice, but I never really found much use for it. We might try research it. Dust field generator. That won't be too bad, but we have limited space, so we're gonna leave those, I think. And we're just gonna save up our science. So we'll get you to move all the way down. Open this door. We are getting a bit risky going this far, but I do want to explore everything. Oh, hello! We've got a merchant. Any enemies spawning? Doesn't look like it. What does a merchant have to sell? He sells toothpicks for production. Now, a toothpick is a spear. So, which one do we want? 12, 14, or 16? Well, why wouldn't you take the 16? It does cost us 21 production, but we might as well take it. I mean, it's production. It's a renewable resource. So we'll take it for our Opbot DV8. So we'll buy it for him. And that sets him up quite nicely. You can actually do some more substantial damage now. So for this room, we have a Neurostim module. It costs 7. We'll put one in there. And that should make sure that this corridor is completely safe. Those ones will pretty much tear anything to pieces. Now we'll also grab these two and bring them back here as well. Not much is getting through these rooms, and our things should be just fine. And I want to make sure everyone is in this room just in case we get some nasty monsters in here. It's not a janitor's closet, which is nice to know. You see, some of these enemies might prioritise going after the core, and some of them are. Good, we've got rid of him. Okay, there we go. We do have some enemies spawning. Let's power up this room and this room. They won't get very far. We'll move our men down. I don't know if this actually means we get some dust drops from them, but it might do. Yeah, as you can see, we got dust from them. So that means this area is now completely safe. And we've hit 30 minutes, so I'm going to have to end this part here. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this series. I don't know how long it'll go, but we'll wait and see, I suppose. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy this, and I'll see you all next time.